Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle-earth here with a bit of a rant video for you. So grab your popcorn, grab a drink, sit back and relax because I want to talk about a few things that I think need to be addressed in this game. Now, I want to switch over to a slideshow in a second to show some examples from Season 6 from the servers I've been seeing and how they've been working, but I wanted to kind of show what our server has been like so far in terms of the timing in our map and how that's been the case, and just how this conversation came to be. But basically, we got our pop 7 days ago. If you look, we've got 27 hours left. We had an 8-day timer that started, which is a ridiculously long timer. I don't think I've seen one that long. But this is our server right here. It's been over for probably, I think, at least 2 weeks, if not closer to 3, in terms of just the action is over. There's been a clear winner. We're done. The only reason our map looks, I think, as like multicolored as it does is because we were in the position to be the winning faction and made the decision to go out of our way to try and make sure things were more evenly divvied up at the end. I won't speak for everyone, but I don't see a ton of servers doing this, and I get it because it's a lot of work. I actually spent a lot of time using Photoshop and making maps like this one, and this is how we went through and decided, and we kind of went and said, okay, we won, so option one, we could just roll the server. We weren't interested in that, so we said, okay, let's look at who was the most active, like who helped this season be really awesome. Like, let's try and get those people the rewards they deserve. So our number one opponent, we thought that made sense that they would have that next place. So we did that. We divvied that up for them for Rune and Gondor. The next most active group got the next one, and so on and so forth. But that takes an extreme amount of time to coordinate that, not only to put together just like what it could be, but then to actually implement that in your server to work with every single faction and say, no, even to our own players, here's why we're not rolling, or here's why you guys can't do this or can't do that. It is a huge pain in the butt, and I don't think it's something I want to do, at least to this level again. It seriously got to the point where we almost got fed up enough to not do it. But again, there's no advantage to rolling the entire server, so we didn't want to do that. But players should not be responsible for having to do what we did this. Again, it was our choice, so I know we chose to do that, but we had to go out of our way to try and balance the server. If we had gone another direction, this would have been over even sooner, and we've already been waiting for I think by the time we go into Season 6, we'll have been waiting for more than a month to actually have stuff to do in-game. So that's kind of how the conversation started for us, just our timing. It's been slow for a while now, and then the effort put in to try and make it so that it's kind of balanced and people have a better time. That shouldn't be on players, and it's a huge pain. So we need some developer intervention to make things happen a little bit better. All right, starting off, I think I have 5 examples here. These are Season 6 servers, the new Rings of Power, Kings of Men, Season 6, which introduced Kingdoms, which I think has a lot of potential. And the reason I want to make this video is because I feel like they keep having good ideas, or there's potential, but the execution doesn't quite seem to be there, or I don't know what it is. So I'm starting the conversation. I've got some ideas that I want to present. I've been talking with people on our team. EQ and I have been talking a lot, especially mechanically. This season is similar to Rise of Kingdoms, the game, which is a very successful game. You can go look at like top grossing mobile games, especially in that genre. It's up there. So clearly they know what they're doing. Mechanically, this was more similar to that. So I think there's a lot of potential, but there are a lot of maps that look like this where you can go around and count and you can say, okay, this blue group has a majority of the powerful fellowships. They have 1, 2, 3, about to have 4, 5 rings of power out of the 8. And these have not been out that long. It's not like this is the end of the season. This is done. This is a relatively new thing that's come out. So again, you can see here in this, I have a few examples of the leaderboards that I could get. You see here, top 5 fellowship is in here. Now, obviously, as your group does better, the fellowships are going to move up and probably sort out, but it just shows that there's not a lot of competition. There's not another active kingdom that's really going for this at all. And so this is just going to be over before you know it. They're going to be in the same position that people see way too much in this game, where the server's rolled, it's done, it takes forever to get a pop. Once you get it, it could be a long timer. Then you go wait and bag in for a week or even longer if you wait for a specific server or group to play with. And it's just, it leaves people not playing your game for way longer than they should be. Because again, this is probably going to be a shock, but when you have a game, you want people to play it. And I say that like I'm being cheeky, but seriously, like, you should not have downtime in your game. If I want to open the app and play the game, I should be able to do that. I understand like the end of the season there being a little bit, but when it's bordering on a month of not really a lot going on, that's pretty outrageous. So again, there's that leaderboard there. Another example here, just so I'm not like just pulling one thing that looks that way. There's a different server. You can see one. I would assume they have this one surrounded. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are a few other kingdoms. As you can see, there are 4 different colors, but clearly very one-sided in terms of how this is going to be going. And I guarantee even if every other kingdom teamed up, it's not going to matter. Like, you have 5 active fellowships that get together. Some small groups are not going to be able to compete with that. It's just not going to happen. So that's another one there. Different one here. Again, different shades, but you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to be 6 probably rings of power. And this one, again, this season has not been off that long. So I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I'm just trying to show you that this is not just like one server has been bad. It just seems very much across the board. We can see that fellowships are grouping up, and I don't really blame them. Like, I know people want to win, so you kind of group up with who's like-minded and wants to win, but that happens, and servers are really not going to have a good experience. At the end of the day, you're going to have people on this side that are winning that are really excited that they won, but get bored because there's nothing to do, and you lose players that way. And there's players on the other side who get stomped pretty quickly, and that's not very fun, and you stop playing that way. So either way, you're going to lose players on both sides. There needs to be some middle ground where you can still enjoy it regardless of the outcome of the season. Another example here. Again, I don't need to keep telling you or explaining why this is the case. Lots of fellowships, top ones here. You get it. So again, I think there's a major issue that needs to be addressed because I think this season has a lot of potential, and I'm extremely excited for it, but I'd like to see some work, some adjustment in how they do things so that this doesn't happen. It may happen, but like, it shouldn't be the norm. And it from what I can tell, it is. So if this has not been your normal, I'd love to hear your good season 6 experience. This is not, I'm not saying this is the end all be all. I'm just trying to grab information and put it out there and hopefully get a response from the developers with some clear answers, because to be honest, we had the live stream, which was really cool. And I feel like there was an opportunity for them to really directly answer some questions for us. And they kind of sidestepped some stuff, to be honest, where I feel like they could have been really direct and said, look, this is why we're doing this. This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. Just be clear with us, be honest with us, shoot us straight. And then within whatever system you have, whatever servers you have, let's figure out what works the best so that the game can have a very, very long and healthy life. So here are some things that I think need to happen. Again, EQ and I talked about, I've talked with a lot of people and gotten some feedback. And so I wanted to put some of those ideas together so that hopefully, you know, I don't just want to rant and complain and say, hey, it doesn't work. I want to provide some options. I want your guys' feedback in the comments. Let me know if these are good ideas, bad ideas. They need adjustment. They will work. They won't work. All thoughts are welcome. Let's keep it respectful. Again, this is not meant to be, this is not like a disrespect on the devs conversation where I'm just saying like, hey, they can't do anything. I know that, I don't know. I assume that developing a game is not easy. I don't know how to do that. So I'm trusting that it's not something that is super easily done. But I do care about the game enough to post things and content for the last year. And so I also want to use my platform to draw some attention and say, hey, we really need some answers from you guys. We need some things clarified from you guys, so we have a clear direction for it. So again, here's some ideas that I think really could help improve this. Number one, we need less new seasons. And what I mean by that is every single season we have some new idea, some new thing. We have kingdoms, we have elite units, we have, just rebuilding glory, like all these different things that added different elements to the season. That's great if we have things running really, really well. Every season you add a new element, that's fun. I do not think, I think 9 out of 10 players, whatever you want to say, would agree that they would rather have balanced, fun servers and have maybe half as many like new updates and changes in terms of content types. Like, I would be okay waiting an extra season for the Rings of Power stuff if they took more time balancing out and dealing with the issues that are making these servers less enjoyable. So don't give us new stuff every season. Do every other season, every third season, whatever it is. Every quarter we get a new theme that we can play through, but more time and energy. Again, time for them is money, so more time and more money is being spent on improving the stuff that we have, making it more enjoyable. So less new seasons. I think it's a no-brainer. Don't spend more time adding something like a one-off elite units. What's the point if it's one-off? If it's one time and then done, and we're not going to go back to it unless you want to replay it over and over again. Why are we spending time on that when we could be spending time on things that affect the long-term future of the game? That's one option. Number 2 is less servers. We need less servers. What I mean by that is when groups get into bag end and register, they're being put into 3, 4, 5, whatever groups more than they should be. We need fewer servers. If we go back a few in the slideshow here, you can see there's all these really powerful kingdoms. Imagine if these were just cut in half. And so instead of having, you have this kingdom right here, and they're going up against, again, we have the ones with the leader before. We have this purple one and that blue one. Imagine if those kingdoms were in the same server, you might be seeing more of an equally matched server with different things to happen. So I think they need much fewer servers, that there can be more activity overall in the server. Now, the question here that I think we need answered is, can the servers handle more players? We have 8 rings of power, so there can be 8 kingdoms with 500 people each. That's a lot of players. I don't know if the servers can honestly support that many players. So I think we need a clear option of, hey, you've said 8 kingdoms, 500 each. Could the servers actually handle that? If not, I don't think there should be an option as that being something really cool of like, yeah, there can be up to 8 kingdoms. Like the idea of this like massive battle going on, I don't think that's fair to put out there, but then not let it happen. So either you're just not doing it and you need to do it. We need less servers. I don't know why it's not happening. Or you physically can't, the servers can't handle it, at which case I think there need to be adjustments for the amount of fellowships that can be in a kingdom, for the amount of kingdoms that can be in a server, whatever it is, adjust those things so on whatever scale works, it can be done in a more balanced manner. But I think either way, less servers needs to happen. Number 3, and I think this one is very crucial, there needs to be manual server switching. Now, again, like I mentioned, in our server, we have been done for well over 2 weeks. The ring's been taken for a while now. We took our time taking it. How servers switch over and get their timers, and if the ring's taken or 3 capitals, it all seems very, very uncertain. I hear different things all the time. My understanding is, and I'm wondering how accurate it is, that it doesn't matter. There's just a timer. It's going to happen on, on its own. Whatever it is, I don't think it's happening very manually, and I don't think they're paying a lot of attention to what's happening in the servers. Maybe they need to hire a new person. Like this is their only job. Is they are just really, they're in every server. They're paying attention to what's going on. And once there's a clear point that activity starts dropping, the ring's taken, analytically looking to see like, yes, this one faction is just winning across the board. We need servers to be switched over much sooner. Timers shouldn't be as long. Like once our season's done, we've taken the ring. Why do we get an 8-day timer? We now have to wait for more than a week. For what reason? I don't understand. And even once the timer's over, that's like end of season. Sometimes you can still wait for up to 2 days to go in a bag end. Now, I know in bag end, you need time to let people to register. I get that. I'm not saying that time probably doesn't need to stay the same, but the time spent in a season with nothing to do is a bit ridiculous. So they need someone to manually be paying attention to servers to go in and say, yes, this server needs switched. I'm gonna hit the button. I don't know if there's a button, but if there's a button, the button needs to be pushed a little bit more frequently when there's a clear winner. Now, again, they need to be aware of what's going on, so they're not ending servers that aren't done and they're still having active fights and there's still a chance. But I would say in all my experiences, when the ring gets taken, like it's done. Unless someone takes it really, really early and becomes a target. I haven't heard of a lot of stories of the ring changing hands multiple times, back and forth, like not sure who's going to win. It really seems like a group kind of rises up in power and finishes things off. So I really, really think we need manual server switching. I think all these things need to happen. These aren't necessarily in order of priority, maybe in order of like what can be done the most, like what can they do the most easily out of these things. Do that first, knock it out, and then move on to the next. And maybe there are more things, maybe these need to be adjusted, but seriously, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Devs, I really hope you're watching. I'm making this video because I care about the game. It's been out for a year. I've been making content in this game. In 4 days, I'll be making content on this game for 1 year exactly. The day it came out, I started. And so I care about it. I'd like to do it for many more years to come, but I'm worried that the player retention is getting worse and worse because servers get rolled, people lose interest, and players are sitting with nothing to do for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm not just talking about players that lose the server. Again, players that lose the server, they might be sitting for like 4 to up to like 8 weeks with nothing to do if they've been rolled and just have to wait for a new one. But even as a winning faction, if you win the server, you're still waiting for a long time. As you saw in my example, I think by the time we get into season 6, it's going to have been about a month. I was talking to EQ, she gave an example that every day she does the $2 Matham bundle and she buys it every day, but she's probably missed it, 5+ times, even just in the last week or so, because there's nothing going on in the game. She's not logging in. So very simple, like small spender stuff like that people do every day, you're going to see a difference. People that would usually buy the season pass might consider not buying that next time. And slowly you're going to have entire fellowships and entire kingdoms deciding to not spend or stop playing altogether, which is going to have a very, very negative impact on the game. Now, I don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think the game is by any means broken. I just think we need some things adjusted. We need some information from the devs. So devs, please reach out. Let's have some conversations. However you want to do this, if you want to put out your own response, if you want to comment, if you want to, whatever it is, I would love to host some kind of a dev conversation on the channel, maybe a live stream, maybe something we do as like a podcast, whatever it would be, where I can pool the community, get some questions for feedback on things that we want some straight answers for. Because I think after, again, it's been a year, we want this game to succeed. I want many, many more years of Rise to War. I think we need some transparency on what we can do in the game, what the servers can handle, what the future direction is, and what things are realistic that we're asking for. So please get in contact with me. You guys know how to reach me. Again, this is not a bashing video. This is 100% because I love this game and I want to cover it for a long time to come. So hopefully we can have some conversations and get some clear information on what is next. But that's going to do it for my semi-rant video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.